You want to hear my story? I don't prefer to talk about me. I don't like the spotlight. My positions come to demand that I speak. I'd rather be behind the scenes, but really is impossible to share the story of our business without sharing our beginnings and my personal journey. At the start, I was a kid with no life experience and desperate for change, but I wanted to make a difference. Yeah, that young kid was me. My family came from proud and poor on both sides. Ancestors of immigrants from Ireland and Italy who arrived with nothing but a dream and a few dollars. From political strife and potato famine, they went on to become Americans and have children. My grandparents, who were survivors of the Great Depression and veterans of the Second World War. They knew struggle, sacrifice, hell, and hope. My parents were raised with meager means, a town apart, but were loved. They met in high school and married soon after. America was in the midst of the Vietnam War. My father attempted to enlist early, but was rejected for medical conditions. I might not be here had he been accepted. They set out to buy a tiny twin home and build a small family in a sleepy little steel town in Pennsylvania. I was born a year later. My mom was 19. I was lucky to have parents who loved me. I was an only child for the first 10 years till my brother was born. I struggled in school with dyslexia and with peers. My teacher said I was bright and talkative, but my mind wandered. Classwork didn't come easy, nor did good grades. Kids disregarded and picked on me fiercely. I was soft and impressionable. I was a target. I wasn't inclined to push back, and I wanted to be liked and was not. I was creative, so I escaped through drawing more and paying attention less. At home, I was protected, probably a bit too much. But when I walked out the front door, the world was harder and more overwhelming than I was prepared for. I managed to navigate through what on the outside looked mostly normal. Little league, paper route. I wasn't athletically inclined or coordinated, but I took to the outdoors, hunting, fishing, camping. My family was involved with a local fire company where dad was chief and mom was ambulance captain, so I trained to become a junior firefighter. Then I finished first aid training so I could make ambulance calls too. At 16, I worked as a porter in a printing company. School was still hard, and navigating my way through social circles was harder. I got left back a year and was forced to make it up. So I began taking classes in commercial art, one area where I excelled. I skipped junior and senior prom, took my diploma, and closed the chapter, happy to move to whatever was next. I took a shot at art college in Philadelphia in the late 80s. But was unprepared to blend school and a first real social life and friends. I focused on partying more than school, and I only lasted a year. Afterwards, I took a few jobs. I was off track and America was at war in the Persian Gulf. I moved back to my parents' basement. I took a few local jobs. And then, in the summer of 1990, I hastily decided to enlist in the United States Navy, quitting a job in car sales. I'd watched the movie Top Gun, and apparently it left an impression on me. That's why I chose the Navy, and many others did too. Almost 2 years later, I arrived in Coronado, California. It was early 1992, and I was an eager and inexperienced aviation electronics technician fresh from school. I checked in for my first sea duty at Helicopter Squadron 6, or HS-6, the world-famous Indians. The Indians were a combat search and rescue anti-submarine warfare helicopter squadron that occupied a giant aircraft hangar built near the turn of the century. But as I passed through those doors on my way to the office to turn in my orders and report for duty, I spied them. Ocean Hawk helicopters, painted haze gray and sitting idle in a row, waiting to fly. My heart pounded. This is what I signed up for. I believed I'd finally made it. I was 22 years old. The reality was different than I'd imagined. As low man on the totem pole, I was put to work troubleshooting and repairing 8 helicopters and spending many long hours. Within just a few weeks, the squadron began to deploy on the aircraft carrier USS Abraham Lincoln for up to 6 months at a time. To say it was stressful would be an understatement. Working during flight operations on the deck was exhilarating, but also real dangerous. I quickly learned to think on my feet in an intense and fast-paced environment, but pay with my life. There, I witnessed things I'll never forget, both good and tragic, an experience I would not trade. What I didn't anticipate, the part they don't tell you in the recruiting office, was all the maintenance that was required to keep the aircraft hangars, the office spaces, the barracks, and the ship looking great. I'm guessing, presumably, they omitted those details because they lacked the movie glamour that motivated me to join in the first place. It wasn't uncommon to wrap a 12 or a 14-hour day of helicopter maintenance by stripping and waxing a floor, scrubbing an aircraft hangar, polishing a quarterdeck or a bathroom till it gleamed. It seemed somehow we were always preparing for an inspection. I mean, I didn't mind. My grandfather and my dad had worked in the 50s and 60s cleaning public schools. I helped Dad strip and wax floors at the firehouse when I was a boy. I liked to run the buffer most, and it became good at controlling it, even though it was almost twice my size. But at the squadron, we often joked that the wings we wore on our uniform, mine had an atomic symbol between the wings, should be replaced by a buffer symbol. We had a never-ending schedule of cleaning and maintenance to do, aircraft maintenance, building maintenance, and repeat, over and over and over. After 6 years of service and twice around the world, I was honorably discharged in 1996. I'd seen the world, witnessed death, and yearned to make my own path. Packed up a rented truck and drove from California with all our belongings, returning to a new family and to my roots in the Philadelphia area. In early 1997, I answered a vague ad in the paper, sales and operations executive, not knowing it was for a large cleaning company. I was offered a position and reluctantly I took it. I did have big aspirations, but bills and obligations that were bigger. I had success and learned quickly, but ultimately I found I was in conflict with my new employer's ethics. The company had been in business for many years and appeared to have a pedigree and a long track record. But behind the scenes, they treated clients like numbers and their employees poorly. What disturbed me most was they treated the cleaners like they were dirt, expendable. I was swimming upstream. I needed to make a change. I began to believe that I could do better. I was around this time, I had a crazy idea. Actually, 3 crazy ideas. One, I was convinced that the same vigilance we had applied in the Navy could be applied to protect business image through cleaning and maintenance. If a customer could trust they always look good, or looked great, or looked fantastic, setting the best impression consistently, then they could focus on the success of their business instead of managing the service that they were paying for or calling to complain. 2, I began to see that similar systems used for efficiency, quality, and safety that we used maintaining helicopters, buildings, ships, could be modified to fit business. And 3, mostly, I deeply believe that people were the most important and no one should ever be treated or compensated like they're not. Not clients, not staff, not ever. So in 1998, I set out on my own. It was difficult at first. Our family had been blessed with a newborn son, and we had just a few dollars in the bank. I worked sales during the day. I met with clients and then worked and trained others at night for years. Many months would pass and I had little sleep. We experienced growth pains, cash shortages, and stress. We made mistakes, but we learned. I took on partners, opened a separate supply distribution company, and we charted a path for growth. By late summer 2001, we'd become well established and grown quite large when the planes hit the World Trade Center and everything came to a grinding halt. We managed to adjust to the change while we mourned the losses of so many. I came from a family of first responders. It hit me hard. Would they call me back to the Navy? Service-connected PTSD was exasperated by the attack. I began seeing threats where they didn't exist. The stress took a toll on my marriage. By 2002, I was a new divorcee with my children every other week. The separation from my kids was excruciating. By 2008, the stock market crash took a huge toll. My partner decided to retire. I kept things going through 2011, and in 2012, I did some restructuring and streamlining. I kept the Patriot name, but added USA for good measure. For the sake of clarity, I was mostly restarting from scratch. I had no financial reserves, no investors, no credit. Behind the scenes, I struggled with depression and anxiety. Remnants of the damage of my past took hold, but I smiled. I put on my game face, and I went to work. I was in a dark place, but I kept it well hidden. I met a beautiful woman, and she believed in me and stood by my side, which was a gamble. I began to see a therapist at the VA, a non-vet who was missing a leg, who understood me and helped me sort things out. He helped me, and he also sorted out my disability records. I was immediately approved the first round. By 2013, I had set a firm foundation. We weren't where we wanted to be, but we were growing. I asked for help getting clean and embarked on a 12-step process, which I'm still on today. I got married, adopted my wife's kid, and began to build a new life together. Around 2016, I was asked to provide room attendance for a hotel, and my first thought was, well, why not? I was cleaning at a high standard that we were already exceptional at. A few housekeepers became dozens. Housekeeping branched into food and beverage, operation support, and many other areas of the hotel. One hotel became many, and our happy clients took us with them from humble beginnings in Pennsylvania, north to Maine, south to Florida, and as far west as Hawaii. In 2018, I began to lay the groundwork for a separate company, a personnel specialist company that would focus only on hospitality staffing. And in 2021, we bought the domain HotelStaff.com. We're still headquartered in the Philadelphia area. We're still independently owned. We're not a franchise. We've staffed and maintained millions of square feet from all types of buildings, from world-class five-star hotels to state-of-the-art facilities, high-profile corporate spaces, and some of the nation's top restaurants. We're proud to be trusted by some of the most prestigious companies in the nation. We treat all our clients and all our staff with deep importance and respect. Without them, we're nothing. We survived so many hurdles, and the experience made us strong. But thankfully, we were lucky along the way to find many talented and dedicated people who join us on our journey. They brought unparalleled work ethic, honor, trustworthiness, and they brought skill to the team. They continue to be what make us among the best in the nation. The true value of any company is in its people. In the summer of 2023, my son Dean, returning from 6 years active duty in Europe and Asia, to join the family business. Now we have more than one veteran helping to move forward. It's been a learning experience for both of us. Last year, we came to the realization that all this time we spent researching business trends in hospitality to grow and strategize was information that could be valuable resources for others. Our national presence across the facilities maintenance and hospitality staffing industries required us to understand the bigger picture of what was going on. We also noted that in hospitality specifically, we were in a unique position because unlike most hotel groups or hotel chains, we were independent. We could share our findings honestly with other executives without fear of reprisal. We began to believe that a content channel for busy professionals would be a great way to give back to the industry that had given us the communities we serve. And HotelStaff.TV was born. We continue to broadcast a weekly show. We expand our blend of breaking news, entertaining facts, feel-good stories, and hopefully just a bit of showmanship to the project. It's only a few minutes a week, but we wanted to make it fun. Community embraced us, locally, and then even globally. We're followed across all social media channels and from Paris to Hong Kong to Dubai. We're currently working on more programming too. Interviews, meetups, highlights of those making a difference. Got a few minutes? Check it out. HotelStaff.TV. We serve those who serve. I'm still actively involved in all aspects of the companies, and I have no intent of retiring. It could be said if I had 4 children, but actually I have more. Business children. My days are still filled with operational and administrative oversight. We have many, many hundreds of staff at last count, and I lost count a while ago, and more clients than I could possibly visit personally. I still do meet with new customers regularly and help to develop new ones. I still troubleshoot because I love what we do, and spending time with our people and our clients is fun. I don't work in the field as much as I used to, but when I can, I still enjoy getting my hands dirty alongside our staff. I'm always teaching and always learning. In addition, working with our teams is a periodic, refreshing reminder of how incredibly hard our staff work in the field. Keeping pace with them just a few hours can be exhausting, at least for me. With all this time, I still do make time for my loving family. We are blessed and grateful. We provide brand health and image protection and exceptional people, and we are a true American success story. Patriot USA, we protect our clients' business as if it were our own. The Patriot USA LLC is our cleaning firm. The Patriot, the logo, stands with its rifle, symbolizing vigilance. Stars encircling symbolize our roots and our history and our country. and our deep patriotism. HotelStaff.com, we are the exceptional hospitality people. Thank you.